Today's WNEM TV5 Morning Extra is brought to you by Roof Max of Midland.
Thanks for joining us live for this TV5 Morning Extra on a First Alert Weather Day. I'm Christine Winter.
And I'm Lauren Piesco. First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro is here tracking this morning's conditions on this First Alert Weather Day. And Matthew, how's it looking outside right now?
Yeah, Lauren, Christine, still pretty slick out there and snowy. This First Alert Weather Day will be in place for the remainder of this morning at the very least. Really, the two things to know are that roads are still very slick and we have a lot of school closings too. In fact, nearly all of our school districts are closed. That full list is at WNEM.com. There's a live look at I-75 in Bertram with your wall side windows camera. Still pretty slow, pretty snow covered there on the freeway. Even though we've had a little bit of a break in the snowfall as some of it is shifting to the north, eventually more of the snow on the west side of the state does pivot right back through again. So we are still far from done with the snowfall. It won't be completely over until about noon or 1 o'clock as we go into this afternoon. We do expect drive times to also significantly improve during the afternoon today, but pretty much up through lunch today, I would still count on seeing some slushy and some messy roads. Taking a look at some of our drive times here too, really the good rule of thumb this morning has been that most of these drive times are taking up to about twice as long as they normally would, so just a good indicator of how slow things really are out there. First Alert traffic map this morning shows plenty of slow travel in our northern counties all across the Thumb, the Bay region, and central Michigan. Take a look at all that yellow and orange on the map. Marginally doing a little bit better towards Lansing on I-69, but it will also be slow if you're heading towards Brighton, Ann Arbor, or Metro Detroit. We'll take a look at the rest of the hour by hour and the wind chills in your shoveling forecast coming up. Lauren, Christine, back to you.
All right, a long night and morning for road crews here in mid-Michigan. Hard at work, making sure drivers are staying safe if they do have to venture out today.
TV5's Maggie Castraba is live out in Saginaw this morning, giving us an update on the elements and driving conditions today. Maggie?
Lauren, Christine, good morning. Yeah, I'm here in downtown Saginaw where it's slushy, slick, and snowy. The big three S's, right? And for the road crews out this morning, they'll be experiencing some similar conditions. Now, the Genesee County Road Commissioners have issued a statement that drivers should expect a challenging drive this morning. They're urging those of you who do have to head out to give yourself plenty of time to get to your destination and drive slowly, even if you have four-wheel drive. And if you are hitting the roadways, be on the lookout for snow plows. Under state law, cars have to maintain a distance of 200 feet behind a plow that's salting, sanding, or plowing unless you're passing one or stopped at an intersection.
Overnight, we're going to have our third shift out all night. We are going to be having the district garages come in early tomorrow morning. I don't have a definite time yet of that. I'm kind of watching the storm, and there are a lot of variables to take into consideration as to how long this storm is going to last and how long each of the workers can work.
And when driving in winter weather, you should get a phone charger, a first aid kit, food and water, everything from jumper cables and flashlights. And if you do get in a crash, be sure to stay in your vehicle. It's a lot safer than walking out in the cold. And speaking of the cold, be sure you have a lot of loose layers if you are outside in these conditions. Be sure to have some waterproof boots if you have them, gloves, mittens, scarves to wrap your face. Be sure to bundle up and drive slow. Again, slow and steady wins the race, and be mindful of other drivers when you're out here in these conditions on your way to work this morning. All right, one last time, reporting live here in Saginaw, Maggie Castraba, TV5 News. Guys, back on over to you.
Maggie, thank you. And we want to give you a live look at MDOT's My Drive plow map. We've got several plows out on the roads now. This is where you can see state crews and where they're focusing their resources this morning. If you want to check this live map for road conditions near you, you can find it on our website. Click on the hot link section of WNEM.com.
And this is a great day to download or update that TV5 First Alert Weather app. It's separate from our news app, and it will give you hourly forecasts, snow totals, radar, and more where you live, and a way to send us photos that could appear on air or online. Look for it on the App Store or Google Play.
We are running night and day chasing these fires.
Flint Fire Chief Theron Wiggins speaking to the Flint City Council about a recent string of fires. The majority, he says, are started by squatters and vacant homes. According to Flint police data, arson is also up by 27%. The city's fire investigator tells us there's usually an increase this time of year.
This time is a lot colder. There's normally an uptick in fires due to squatters going into vacant structures trying to stay warm. We're going into these buildings that's been vacant or dilapidated for years, and that presents a great risk to us because the building can or cannot be structurally sound. We don't know.
Flint City Councilwoman Candace Machat says Flint has 150 spots for people to shelter this winter, but adds she understands that number's not enough. We reached out to the Genesee County Land Bank to learn more about their plans for the vacant buildings. In a statement, they say they oversee more than 2,500 foreclosed structures in Flint, while regularly implementing enhanced safety features like installing cameras, boarding up properties, working with police, fire departments, and the community.
Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely delivered the annual State of the City address downtown. Neely, now midway through his second term, used the Capitol Theater stage last night to walk Flint through the numbers and progress points his team says mark a clear shift in the community, population growth for the first time in decades, an improving financial position, and a stronger push to clear blight and secure dangerous vacant buildings across neighborhoods.
When you talk about a $489 million turnaround, it's never been done in the state of Michigan before for one community, and this really speaks to who we are.
Neely says he does plan to run for a third term next year.
In more local news, the newly renovated Mary Crapo Park in Swartz Creek reopens today. Updates include a new baseball field, pickleball courts, concession stands, walking path, and the ribbon cutting is scheduled for 5 o'clock this afternoon. Stay with TV5 for more updates and schedule changes.
All right, you are joining us live for TV5 Morning Extra.
Still ahead, how a book helping children battle the flu is reaching a wider audience in mid-Michigan.
And new accolades for MSU. We're going to show you where the university ranks on graduate employability.
Miss a story? You can catch up on our YouTube channel, and for the latest updates, make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Matthew will have your First Alert forecast on this First Alert weather day. That's next.
It's a First Alert weather day across mid-Michigan as we are tracking some wintry weather, plenty of slow and snowy travel. We have a lot of school closings today. In fact, nearly all of our districts are closed as of this point. We're still expecting about 3 to 6 inches of snow for the majority of our area. It's definitely enough to prompt this winter weather advisory for the entire TV5 area as well. So there's our snowfall map. This is what we finally declared last night. Our final map, 3 to 6 inches for the Thumb, the Bay region, Central Michigan, and up north. About 1 to 4 inches for areas approximately south of M57. That's because of a little bit of rain or some drizzle briefly mixing in here for the mid-morning. One thing I do want to note, though, is the potential for some banding between the Mount Pleasant and Bay region areas, even through the Central Thumb. That looks most likely near about M20 or M46, but if we do see any banding for the remainder of the morning, that could actually bring some of those storm totals up over 6 inches. inches. But in the shoveling forecast today, first, the snow will be out of here going into the afternoon. So the afternoon certainly much quieter than this morning, but I am first alerting you to some blustery conditions. That northerly wind picks up and we'll have sustained speeds up to about 15 miles per hour, some gusts closer to 30 miles per hour. Factor in the wind, it'll still feel like the low 20s or even the upper teens, about 10 degrees colder than that air temperature at any given point. So it will still be cold as you are cleaning up that snow later on. First alert pinpoint Doppler right now shows all the snow falling, especially up north. It's even retreating from the thumb a little bit, but there is some drizzle that's developed, and eventually we're going to see more of the snow filling back in as the system pivots to the south for the remainder of this morning. So as the snow starts to fill back in, it'll then leave our northern counties most likely even before noon. And still into the Bay region right near noon, also the thumb and our southern counties. But shortly after that, about 1 o'clock, I'd say about 2 at the very latest, this snow is completely out of mid-Michigan. And then we just have some lingering lake effect for the northern thumb and around Houghton Lake as we go into tonight. Right now, this is a live look at I-75 in Bertram with your wall side windows camera. You can see the center and left lane still a little bit more snow covered. That right lane doing a little bit better. But for this morning, you'll definitely encounter a lot of roadways looking just like that. So you'll definitely need to take it easy out there up north and all across the Bay region and central Michigan and the thumb. You can see all of the slow travel indicated by the yellows and the oranges. Moving into Genesee County, a little bit better near Fenton on US 23 and I-69 towards Lansing. That's also been marginally better for this morning too, but pretty much all other areas are still pretty slick. So really the key messaging with our drive times this morning too is that in many cases your drive times will be up to about twice as long as normal. Now we do have a breezy day again, as I was mentioning, those gusts up near 30 miles per hour. That temp of 32 today, that's actually where we're currently at. So right now is the warmest part of the daytime. We'll see temps steadily falling throughout the afternoon and going into the evening. And only getting colder from here in your first alert 7-day forecast. So we're back to the 20s and the weekend particularly cold. Highs generally into the upper teens by then with single-digit overnight lows. So all of the snow that's falling right now too, that'll be sticking around for the long term.
All right, across Michigan now, Michigan State University is among the top 10 public universities for graduate employability. And that's from the Times Higher Education magazine. So MSU came in at number 9 for public universities and number 34 in the country overall. And some of the key employability drivers in this ranking include work expertise, graduate skills, social impact, and leadership. The school has a 93% placement rate for bachelor's degree graduates, and more than 65% were employed right here in Michigan.
While recent school safety programs have focused on lockdowns and emergency drills, Michigan State Police are now shifting their focus to prevention. Students gathered this week for the Michigan State Police Youth Violence Prevention Summit in Lansing, learning to spot the warning signs of violence in their community before it happens. Donald Ferguson from Michigan's OK to Say program says students are the eyes and ears inside the schools.
These students will see things before we do. And sometimes they don't know what to say. I want to make sure they understand that what they see will help us. They can prevent an incident tomorrow if they say something.
Colonel James Grady says his generation didn't face these issues. So now it's up to students to lead the way for change.
It's so important that we not only provide the drills, that we practice or prepare for what could happen. We also have to make the youth know that they have a role and responsibility in this too. And if we all work together, we truly can reduce youth violence or school violence in the future.
The program is set to continue again next year.
In more local news, want to show you a Grand Blanc child's fight with the flu, now offered in Spanish. Families Fighting Flu, along with the National Hispanic Medical Association, debuted the Spanish-language version of the comic book called Caden Blaze, Flu Fighter Tuesday. Now, the comic captures the true story of Caden Stevenson, who had both of his legs amputated while he was fighting the flu. In the hospital with Caden was a little boy also fighting influenza who did not survive. Caden told his mom that he must have been a superhero. Thus, the idea for a comic book was born.
Anyone who has met Caden knows that he is truly a superhero. and we're so happy to make his Caden Blaze dream come true.
They believe the new comic will be a perfect tool to help save lives in the Spanish community.
In Saginaw County, helping take care of veterans one trailer at a time. This Friday, the Great Lakes Bay Veterans Coalition will deliver a trailer load of supplies to the Alida E. Lutz VA Medical Center in Saginaw, helping homeless and low-income veterans. It's their 8th year of the Fill the Trailer donation drive. So far this year, they've collected over 270 boxes and totes, totaling over 10,000 personal hygiene items. That delivery is scheduled for Friday morning at 11.
In Midland County, Northwood University is adding new features to this year's Winter Wonderland event to handle bigger crowds, including a second horse-drawn wagon ride. The fun will continue tomorrow evening. Wagon rides are every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. until December 18th.
I want to check in with meteorologist Matthew Mondro now for one last look at that 7-day forecast.
And in our 7-day forecast, still pretty wintry out there. We'll actually only get colder from here. And taking a look at your first alert pinpoint Doppler as well, we still have some snow falling up north. Even though we've had a little bit of a break in the snow to the south, we are still tracking some drizzle there. But more snow will fill back in for the rest of the morning. So just take it easy on those roads. They are pretty slick.
Yes, take it slow for sure. Matthew, thank you. And thanks for watching this TV5 Morning Extra.
We'll see you right back here for TV5 News at 9. Have a great day.